Hi, this is Vishal here from Trapcode. So in this video, we will understand the difference between static option, dynamic option, and reference fields. So all these three are used to show drop-down values in the form, and it's a bit confusing that okay, why we have three different options. So let's go through this video and understand what's the difference between all these three fields. Okay, so we have an employee collection, and here we have two fields, full name and email address. Now what we will do, we will create a field of each type, static option, dynamic option, and reference in this collection, and then see the behavior. Okay, so I'll go and add a static field, a static drop down, which is called static option, and I'll call it as, let's say, department static option. Okay, and let's add two department. One is HR, another is accounts. Okay, so now we have created one field in the employee collection, which is department static option. Okay, now let's create one more field for dynamic option. So to create a dynamic option field, we need a collection, so that this dynamic option field will be pointing to that collection. So let's go and create a new collection with the name, let's say, department dynamic option. The collection is created. Let's add one field, name of the department. That's all. Okay, the collection is created. Let's skip this. Okay, let's add some data. So add the same department here. One is HR. Okay, and other is accounts. Okay, so let's go back to employee collection and add the dynamic option field here now. So I'll add one more field. Instead of text field, we'll now choose dynamic option. Let's give it a name as department dynamic option. So let's choose the department dynamic option collection which we have created to show this drop-down values. Okay, and here we want to just capture the field which we want to show in the drop-down. So I want to show the name, so I'll just select name. Okay, we will not select it multi-site, but leave it for now. Okay, and then just save it. So in the employee collection, we have one static option, one dynamic option. Let's go and create one reference field also. Okay, so reference field also comes from a collection. So I'll go and create one more collection and name is that, let's say, department reference. We'll give one field, a name of the department. That's all. Let's go and add some data. We'll create the same departments again, HR. Other one was accounts. Okay. Now let's go and add this particular field as a reference in the employee collection, like we did for dynamic option and static option case. Okay. So I'll go to the employee and add field. Now this time we will add a department field as a reference. So I'll choose reference. I'll give the name, let's say, department reference. Okay. Here we want to choose the collection, that which collection we want to use as a reference. So we'll choose department reference. Again, the name of the field which we want to show in the drop down. So I'll show the department name in the drop down values. Okay. Save it. So now we have an employee collection which has full name, email address, and three different fields which are referencing to department only, but these are of three different types, that is static option, dynamic option, and reference. Let's go and add some data. Okay. So I'll create an employee, let's say James. Okay. So in the static option field, I'll choose HR. In the dynamic option, let's choose HR, and in the reference field, let's choose HR. Okay. Now the employee is created and it has HR in all three fields. Okay, so now here comes the difference. So in static option, whatever the options are coming in the dropdown are coming statically from the form itself. They're not getting derived from any collection or anywhere. So this is static. If I want to add one more option in the dropdown, I will have to go to the configuration of the collection. Okay, so I'll have to go to the configuration of the collection here and then add one more value. So let's say I want to add sales. Okay, then update it. Now I have added one more field in the static option. So if I add an employee in the static option dropdown, I will see one more value, which is sales. But if we go to dynamic option, it's nothing. Reference, it's nothing. Okay, now let's go and do some changes in the dynamic option field. Okay, so the difference between dynamic option and a reference is that in dynamic option, if the value of the referencing fields gets changed, it will not change in the objects or in the records which were created previously, because there is no link between the new data and the old data. But in case of reference, the new records or the old records are all referencing to the parent collection from where the value came. So if anything changes in the parent collection, it will also get changed in all the collection which are using those values. So let's quickly watch it. So let's go to the collection again. In the dynamic option, instead of HR, let me rename it to, let's say, HR from dynamic option. Okay, and update it. Let's go and see if anything has changed in the employee for this particular value. So if we come to employee, so the value is still HR, nothing has changed, right? But although we have updated it to HR from dynamic option. So now let's take a look at reference field. So I'll go to the reference collection and see what all values are there. So we have created two values, HR and accounts. So let's go and change this to HR, update it to HR from reference. Okay. Now let's go back to the old record of employee and see if anything has happened there. Okay. So on this employee data, if you can see, the value is actually updated. Okay. So what happened? Whenever we are changing the value of the reference field in the original collection, the changes are getting reflected in all the collection wherever the value is being used. But in case of dynamic option, it was no such case. We have changed the value in the original collection, but has not reflected in the old records. But if we create a new record, we will still see the new values. Okay, so let's create one more employee, Julia. Okay, static option, we'll see all three values. This is fine. In dynamic option, now we are not seeing HR. We are seeing HR from DO because we have updated the values. And obviously in reference, it will be HR from reference. So here in the old record, it is still HR, but in the new records, it's HR from DO. And reference field is updated in both the cases. Hope you are able to understand the difference. Continue building no-code apps on Trapcode. If you face any issue, please feel free to reach out to us. Bye-bye.